Hey, 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 Dr. Kiki Ramsey here. I'm so excited to see you. Hey, come on, y'all. I'm so excited to see you today, as always. And we're going to be talking about a subject that is so very important. It's all about confidence, right? And so I'm really excited only because we are still celebrating Women's History Month. Yes. If you caught our live stream yesterday from PCADI, the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, we talked all about women in leadership, the challenges, the successes, and the future of women in the workplace. So if you didn't see it, if you didn't catch it, go check that out. But today we're going to be talking about the 5 habits of highly confident women. And this topic is so near and dear to me because I actually have this conversation a whole lot with several women in different organizations. What does it take to be successful, to be confident in our field? And we're going to really get into it today, and I'm super excited about that. So let me bring us in properly. I love that. It makes me super, super excited. And so, like I said, we're talking about 5 habits of highly successful women. Why are we talking about this now? Well, number one, like I said, it's Women's History Month. Number two, it's just an important topic. I run into it often. Even with myself, I've ran into it a lot in the past, but I've absolutely run into it when it comes to coaching some of the highly successful women in these leadership in these organizations that I coach in. And it's one of the things that sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. And it's either or sometimes, and it's and, right? So we can go through different periods of time in our life where we can be super confident. And then at other times in our life, we can feel like we're an imposter. That's a whole nother subject, imposter syndrome. But we can feel that way. And we need to know ways that we can combat to make us feel stronger when it comes to being confident and showing up every day as our best selves on the job and even in our families, with our kids, our spouses. I mean, confidence is needed just for that, right? I have, when it's difficult, when you're stressed out, sometimes it takes confidence to take that next step that you need in order to prepare dinner. Somebody understands what I'm talking about, right? Thank you for the hearts. So if you're joining me right now, go ahead and please let me know in the comments where you are joining me from. I'd love to potentially give you a shout out. I am super excited that you are here with me. So in as it pertains to confidence, right? This is a subject that you can find like tons of videos on and everything, and you'll find all kind of tools and tactics to boost your confidence, and a lot of them work. I also think that what you don't put into practice won't work, right? It won't work. But I can remember a time where I was starting off my speaking career, and I was trying to, get to a place where I could do my speaking career on a full-time basis, because that's always your dream, right? Is to go full-time in your own business. And so I thought about this, and I'm like, oh, and I got this opportunity to speak at this amazing conference. And at this time, this was the largest conference with the largest audience. They had about 300 plus women in the audience who were going to be just participants. And so I was going to be speaking in front of 300 women, which was like so scary, right, to me, right, at the time. Since then, I've spoken in front of audiences of thousands plus, right? But at that time, I had only spoken, and that was going to be the largest audience that I spoke at. So I was really super nervous. And let me just say this off the bat: just because you're nervous or you're scared, it doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to be confident, right? Hey, Laura from Florida, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. It doesn't mean that you're not confident, right? It doesn't mean that. It means that you're just nervous. And I'm going to teach you 5 habits that you continue to do even when you are nervous. And so I was nervous about this speaking engagement because it was my biggest at the time. And but I prepared, right? I prepared my keynote presentation, and I went over it 1,000 times. I knew that presentation forward, backwards, all of that. I knew it, and I knew I was going to do a good job. But when I got there, there were 2 other speakers beside myself, and we were all having dinner with each other the night before. And all of them were saying, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Have you prepared?" And they were like, "No, I haven't prepared. I haven't prepared." And I was like, I'm prepared. I mean, because I'm not about to get up in front of 300 plus women and make a fool out of myself, right? Like, I am not about to do that. So I'm like, I prepared. But, to save face, sometimes when you're around other people, you'll just say things to fit in. And so, in order to fit in, I'm like, oh no, I mean, I'm good. So, but in my mind, I'm like, how in the world are you going to try to get up and represent yourself in front of all these people and you didn't prepare? Plus, you're being paid for this keynote. So you didn't prepare for something that you were being paid for. That's a whole subject, y'all, right? So we're gonna get into it though. So anyway, I was prepared, and my turn came to get up on stage. And let me just tell you, I killed it. I absolutely slayed the stage, right? Standing ovation. If you've ever seen me do a keynote, especially in person, even on virtual, but I'm coming in, I'm getting the crowd hyped up, all of that. I did all of that, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And afterwards, even those women were so blown away. And they were like, "Oh my God, you were so amazing." Like, "Oh my God, you were so amazing." And all I could think was, yeah, because I prepared and I felt good. I felt good. I felt good going into the keynote because I knew I had did the things. I knew I had been preparing myself. I knew that I had the habits that made me highly confident to get up in front of those women to deliver an amazing keynote that would ultimately, hopefully, change somebody's career, life, what have you, right? And so I love this story because although I was nervous, I was still confident in my ability to get up there and do what I was paid to actually do. And that's what I'm hoping for you, right? We get up every single day and we go to these jobs. We go to our jobs, whether we get up and go to our kitchen table, to the office that we have, to the closet, whatever, right? We get up, we go to this job, we pop over the computer, or sometimes now we're going back into the office, right? And we are there for a job, but sometimes we don't feel super confident. Sometimes we're like, I don't, I mean, somebody might find me out because I don't know, right? Like, that's what happens when you're not feeling confident in your abilities and stuff like that. And so, but there's a way to consistently begin to feel more confident in your ability to show up on your job, in your business, to serve those who you were put there to serve. Because at the end of the day, your purpose is to serve, right? To serve someone. How you do that is the vehicle, but the purpose together is to serve. And so, you absolutely have to have a couple ways and strategies. And so, as I was looking at this and looking back on all the work that I've done with a whole bunch of executives on having this confidence and this presence about them to go out there and slay and know that what they're saying and what they're doing is the right thing. These are the most 5 habits that I came up with that I think that us as women can, if we can embody this, we are going to be amazing. I mean, when I say amazing, I mean amazing in the workplace, and we're going to get more accomplished. And so let me get them to them. So the first one is you got to operate and know your superpower, aka your strength. Okay, so if you know me, you know that I consider myself a positive psychologist, one who really helps people uh, think about and work within their strengths, right? That is what I do. That's what I love. I love to see people, especially women, thrive because we're amazing. And our superpowers are our strengths. But it amazes me at how many of us who don't know what our strengths are. We focus a lot on our weaknesses. And let me just tell you, positive psychology is a study of what goes right with you. It's not only the focus on, the positive, but there are weaknesses, right, that we all have. But what positive psychology is saying is, why not focus on strengths just as much as you focus on weaknesses, right? And so when it comes to that, knowing your strengths is a must. It's an absolute must, because here's the thing: when you know your strengths, I truly believe you're able to walk in your purpose and your passion. When you know your strength, I believe that some of us are misplaced in jobs and in situations that don't lean towards our strength. Okay, like it don't lean towards our strength. So, for instance, one of my character strengths, and I love character strengths, is zest. Right? It's this vibrance, is this exuberance, is this excitement that I feel like I try to wake up every single day and I exude onto the people who meet me on whatever kind of platform that we have, right? Whether it be here on a live on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show, whether it is in a book that I wrote, on a keynote, in a coaching session, whatever, I am going to bring you zest. Baby, I am zesty. Okay. I crack myself up sometimes, y'all. Seriously. But I was just saying, like, this is what I'm strong at. I don't really have to try at this thing, right? I would have to try at some other things that I'm not so great at. But this one is not something that I have to try at. But I know this. I need to be aware of my strengths so that I am aware when something is going wrong, like I'm feeling tired. I'm like, okay, I might be feeling a little tired this morning, but I know that one of my top strengths is zest. So let me channel that today to get through this day. You see what I'm saying? Because things are going to happen. Th- Things, right, are going to happen. Your day might not always go right. Like I have a confession. I have started reading the 5 a.m. Club. So I don't know if any of y'all have read that book, but it's called the 5 a.m. Club. And I did this a long time ago. I used to wake up at 5 a.m. a long, long time ago. And then once I started my PhD, child, that whole schedule went out the door because I was staying up late. I was doing all kinds of things and stuff like that, right? So I used to do it a long time ago, but now that I'm done with my PhD, I love the way it made me feel when I got up at 5 a.m. because I had that quiet time to myself. I had an opportunity to actually speak. I had an opportunity to actually just be by myself and just meditate and pray and work out and do all those things, right? So I had that opportunity to do it. So I loved what the 5 a.m. club did to me, and did to my body and did to my mental. But once I started my PhD, I stopped. So I'm starting the 5 a.m. club again because I know the benefits of it. So there's a book called the 5 a.m. club. So I started it this week. And my challenge is going to bed at night early enough, right? I'm a big HGTV fan, House Hunters, all of that. I love it, right? And so I want to stay up to watch House Hunters and do all those things, but I can't. If I do that, I know I'm a sacrifice. And so last night I stayed up and I watched House Hunters, and I also watched the new show by Egypt Sherrod, Married to Real Estate, which I love. Hey, Egypt. And so, but that cost me because I woke up this morning super, super tired, and just kind of drained. And I realized that I can't do that if I'm going to wake up and be my very, very best. So, what I'm saying to you is, I know I operate within my superpowers when I'm feeling my best. And I also knew that today was going to be one of those days that I needed to really tap into my zest, because that is a superpower for me. That is a strength for me to get through the day, to bring you the energy, and also to bring my daughter the energy, who's home today from school because it is a teacher's work day. She keeps telling me that this, her teacher's work day, and she was just waving at me. And so I know my strengths. You need to know yours too. There's several assessments out there, all of that that can give you your strengths. I love the VIA .org is the the website address. It'll give you your character strengths, but you got to know those things, because in order to know them, in order to move forward and be confident every single day when you wake up, you need to know and walk within your strengths. So number two, you need to know your stuff. We as women need to know our stuff, right? Meaning, whatever you are an expert at, you need to know that thing, right? Nobody should know more than you of that thing. I'm just saying, right? You need to know your ish, is another way to say it. You need to know your ish, because at the end of the day, we all have a job to do. And the more prepared you are for the job, the better. So let me just say this. That first big keynote speech that I had with those 300 women, I was confident because I had practiced my keynote over and over and over and over again till I knew every word verbatim and backwards, right? You couldn't tell me that I didn't know. So when you are ultra prepared for a thing, you can feel confident walking into that meeting, giving that presentation, because you already know your stuff. You know your ish, right? Can't nobody tell you any different. Now, let me just say this. I'm not talking about over prepare. Sometimes we can over prepare and plan, and we have this failure to launch, right? We never get into the act. We never do the thing because you're over prepared, and don't over prepare, feel good about yourself, and keep it moving. So what you can do is you can read up on your craft. Every morning now I get up, I got a big old positive psychology book over here that I read from, because I need to know my craft. I read articles, right? I plan, I practice what I preach. I'm coaching every day. I do research. These are all the things that are going to allow you to know your stuff. So part of, the 5 a.m. club is really spending some time digging into your craft, spending 20 minutes in the morning time in the solitude of the morning where your kids ain't up. Because if y'all anything like me, I got kids, I got toddlers, 3 and 4 years old. Once they get up, it's a wrap for me, right? Because I'm mommy then. I'm lunch maker. All those things. And so you need to know your stuff, right? If you don't know your stuff, when you go into that meeting, chances are you're not gonna feel confident. Period. So do the work, research, plan, and do this over a period of time so that you don't feel like you got to cram it all in, right? Do it over a period of time so you don't have to cram it all in. There's no need to cram it all in, right? All right. So if you just joined us, go ahead and drop your name in the chat, where you tuning in from. And also, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat as well. Number 3, do it anyway, even if you are scared. We as women who are highly confident, we do it anyway, even if we're scared. We do it anyway. And what am I saying? I'm scared often, right? About certain things. I'm always taking on challenges in my career in order to move forward, right? I'm always doing that. And because I'm doing that, that means I am scared often. But I do it anyway. I do it scared. Because what we don't understand is confidence don't mean that you're not going to be scared. Confidence means that you take that deep breath and you just move forward. You take the next step. Every day I'm doing things that I always wanted to do, didn't know when they were going to happen. And some days I'm doing stuff I never imagined I would do. And I'm just like, wow, you go, girl. And then most every day I'm thinking about doing things that I could never imagine doing, but I'm thinking because I know that the future is so bright. One of the mantras I have and philosophies that I live by is what is possible. What is absolutely possible? And if you live by that mantra, what is possible, it's going to have you outside of your comfort zone a lot, right? I'm outside of my comfort zone a lot because I'm stretching myself to figure out what is absolutely possible for me in my life. And then I stretch my clients and the leaders that I work with and asking them the same thing. What is actually possible for your life? And if you live by that, then you're going to be outside of that box that you put yourself in. And so it's time that you really go ahead and just take the next step, even though it might be difficult or it might be scary. So what I do is I literally take a breath and then I go. I take a breath and then I take the next step, right? Like that's what I do because it's so very important that I keep moving. If you ain't growing, baby, you dying. Like seriously, right? Some of us have been stuck in the same place for years. And it's us who's keeping us back. It's you who's keeping yourself back. So in order to not be stuck anymore, be scared. Do it anyway. Yes, that adrenaline does fuel you, Laura. That adrenaline does fuel you. It is. I love it. So number 4, this one is a big one. Highly confident women take care of their total health. Period. Take care of their total health. What do I mean? You take care of you try to eat right, you work out, you take care of your mental, all of that. I was just telling my husband we are going to go on vacation soon, and I'm just like, you have to have that break. He was saying that how you can't just keep going, right? You absolutely have to have the break, and it doesn't have to come with just a vacation. It can come every single day where you take some time out. If you missed the Dr. Kiki Ramsey show a week or two ago, I talked about self help tips for really leaders. Go back and watch that episode because it is amazing. The tips that I tell us that we need to take in terms of taking care of ourselves. But this total health, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, all of that is important. It's all very, very important for us to take care of. I get a massage at least once a month. At least once a month. At least once a month, I try to take a whole day off. Every Friday, I take the rest of the day off and try to go to lunch because that's just my downtime to recuperate myself, right? Like I have specific days that I take coaching calls on because it takes me energy to make sure that I'm coaching you at my very best. And so we have to take care of our total health. I work out every single day, Monday through Friday, period. I don't negotiate with myself at all, right? I can get up in the morning like today, for instance, feeling super tired, but the first thing I do is put on my workout clothes, period. I put on my workout clothes. That's the first thing I do. And then I'll saunter myself down to our gym because I have Peloton. Kiki, do you love me on Peloton? If you know Peloton, and I work out. I find something. I don't want to every day, but I do it. So you gotta be intentional about your health because it does absolutely scientifically proven makes you better. It makes you more confident. So when I get up and I go out and I work, or when I flip up my laptop to have a coaching session, or if I'm in public and I'm doing a keynote, I feel good because I feel good. Does that make sense? I do a great job because I feel good. And I'll be honest with you, eating properly hasn't always been the one thing that I do the best, but I intermittent fast. That's the easiest thing for me to do. So I can eat what I want to. Now I still don't go crazy, but let me just tell you, I still have my brownies and my Reese cups and all that kind of stuff, right? In moderation during my fast, during my windows of eating. So you got to find out that works for you. But that makes my body feel good. And then lastly, we support other women. Hello, somebody. I wish I just had somebody to cue the music for me, right? Yeah. Confident women support other women. If you missed our live stream yesterday, Women in Leadership, go back and watch that. But we talked about supporting other women because there is enough room at the top and there is enough room at the table for all of us. And so my goal is to mentor, to coach as many women as possible, to bring them up, because it's what I was placed on earth to do in the first place. And it's the right thing to do, right? It's the right thing to do. I'm so excited about just this notion of supporting each other spreads, right? I want this to spread amongst women because society will try to pit us against each other. It will. Society, you'll see all these reality shows and all these things, and all they do is talk about each other and fight and all that. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. If I ever had a reality show, I would want it to be about uplifting, but we do know it sells, right? We can support each other. You can pull somebody up with you, especially if you're a senior leader in a top organization. Reach down and pull somebody else up alongside of you. That's what we do. And we're confident in the fact that there is enough room for us all. So these are just five habits of highly confident women. We know and operate within our superpowers. 2, you know your ish, you know your stuff, right? 3, you do it anyway, even if you're scared. 4, you take care of your total health. And 5, we support other women. We absolutely support other women. Thank y'all so much for being here with me on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show today. If this message resonated with you, please share it with somebody today. That's something that you can do, right? If you want to support other women, slide this on to somebody's inbox or on their feed and let them watch this, because we all can be super confident in what we do every single day. As always, I'm Dr. Kiki Ramsey, helping you do what you love and love what you do. Until next time, bye.